Hey guys, Serac here, and today I'm going to bring you my updated Marincess deck for my Yu-Gi-Oh! On a Budget series as of Legendary Duelists 9. So this deck got a lot of support and is starting to see some success, and is still relatively cheap, even with the new support. So let's get into it. We start with 3 copies of Marincess Blue Tang. As MBT pointed out, it's also called MBT. If it's normal or special summoned, you can send 1 Marincess monster from your deck to the graveyard, except itself. And then if it goes to the graveyard for the link summon of a water monster, excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Marincess card from your deck to your hand, of the revealed cards, and then shuffle the rest into your deck. Best starter in the deck, it's level 4 to give us Bahamut Shark access. It dumps Seahorse or Spring Girl into the graveyard for extension, and it adds potentially other cards, either Dive, Wave, Battle Ocean, or other monsters for more extension or protection. Really, really good. You want to see this card. We then have the new card of the deck, or the new monster. We have 3 copies of Marincess Spring Girl. Now, Spring Girl says you can banish 1 Marincess monster from your graveyard, summon this card from your hand. If it goes to the graveyard for the link summon of a water monster, send the top cards from your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of Marincess monsters you control, and then if a Marincess card was sent to the graveyard by this effect, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each. The latter line of text doesn't really matter. Sometimes it's nice that you dump something like a Seahorse or a Mandarin into grave, which you can use, but generally we just care about the fact that it can summon itself essentially for free. And sometimes the burn comes up for winning in time, but the main aspect of this is the fact that it's a free special summon and very easy to get through Signet mining, through dumping it with Blue Tang and adding it back with Blue Slug, and so on. We then have 3 copies of Marincess Seahorse. Now, Seahorse can special summon itself to the zone a Marincess link monster points to, and then during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, banish this card, special summon 1 water monster from your hand to the zone a Marincess monster points to. So this is another option we have to bin to the graveyard with Blue Tang if we've already got Spring Girl access. It's a free special summon, and it obviously provides extension for later turns as well if it's in the graveyard. Not quite as good because it's level 3, so doesn't give us access to Toad, which is really, really important for this deck, as it's one of the few negates we have access to. We're playing 3 copies of Marincess Pascalis. This is a Goblinberg, so when it's normal or special summon 1 Marincess monster from your hand in defense position, except itself. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, banish this card, target a Marincess spell or trap in your graveyard, and add it back to your hand. Again, more repeatability of your spells and traps for later turns in the game is very, very good, especially because this deck lives and dies by the fact, can it put up a big monster. In a way, it's very similar to Ignisters that we showed last week. We then play 1 Marincess Sleepy Maiden, the other new monster. This is just a free special summon from the hand if you control a Marincess card. Gives it some protection while you control to the card in the monster zone from destroying by card effects, but usually you're going to be getting rid of this anyway and linking it off with whatever you targeted, so it doesn't hugely matter, and provides you an extra equip, which means we can push things up to slightly more attack, which can sometimes be relevant, but doesn't usually come up. Again, it's mainly just, it's an extra extender that we can easily search. Then, again for extenders, 1 Marincess Mandarin. If we control 2 or more Marincess monsters, we can special summon this from our hand or graveyard by point to the zone a water link monster points to. Sorry about that, but it's banished when it leaves the field. For our other extenders, we are playing the Silent Sea Nettle. This can summon itself if we control a water monster, and then it locks us into water monsters. Plot twist, the entire deck we're summoning is water, so the downside is irrelevant. A lot of builds use the Abyss Shark and the Sea Angler build. we could use that, but it's a little bit more expensive. This deck is already bordering on £150 as is, thanks to the price spikes of Marincess Dive. But so I've gone with Nettle for this, but if you have the Shark package, feel free to try that instead. And for our Handtraps, it's the 3 Ghost Ogre, the 3 Effect Veiler, and the 2 DD Crow. Again, replace these with any Handtraps you want, that you use, that you have access to. For the spells, we start off with Marincess Dive. This is the new spell. This is a themed, therefore searchable monster reborn, or a special summon from the deck if we control the field spell. It's an amazing card for that. It's a really, really good card for the archetype. It's just another Marincess. It's any Marincess name you want, whenever you want it, basically. And yeah, it's just really, really strong. There's a reason that it's suddenly spiked from £5 a copy to £14 a copy. But yes, it's really, really good. It summons a monster from the grave or from the deck if you control Battle Ocean, and therefore we play 3. Talking of Battle Ocean, here is Battle Ocean. Now, Battle Ocean is a critical card to the deck. The deck really relies on the protection and the attack that it gets from Battle Ocean. So, all Marincess monsters gain 200 attack. Each gains 600 attack for each Marincess card equipped to it. Monsters you control that in the extra monster zone that used Crystal Heart as material are unaffected by opponent's card effects. When you link summon a Marincess monster in the extra monster zone, equip up to 3 Marincess link monsters from your graveyard to that link summoned monster. So this allows us to boost any Marincess monster by 2k attack by summoning it to the EMZ. So we get 4300 Aqua Argonaut, 4600 Great Bubble Reef, 3500 Coral Triangle, and so on. It's incredibly strong, especially in tandem with making Crystal Heart, but everything is given to you by Battle Ocean. If this gets Twin Twisted, Cosmic'd, MST'd, Ghost Ogred on its resolution, you sometimes do just lose the game there. The deck lives and dies by this card, but if they can't deal with it, then you're going to do much, much better. 3 copies of Cynet Mining. This is self-explanatory. We're a Cyberse deck. We have a linear combo that relies us seeing probably 2 pieces of engine plus some hand traps. Yeah, so Cynet Mining helps us get to those key pieces to make our linear board. In the words of the great Joseph Rothschild, it's just ignister, but they're waifus. 3 Forbidden Chalice. Monster negation is fun. We can also, again, buff our monsters a little bit more if we need to beat over an access code or something like that. Because, again, they gain the attack boost from Battle Ocean, not their own effects. So sometimes that comes up with things like Aqua Argonaut hits 2300 attack, therefore it can beat over a hits 4300 attack, therefore with a Chalice it can beat over it. Or you negate the access code. So, Chalice is really, really good. Its interaction stops things like Scythe Lock and so on, helps us go first or second, and it's much cheaper than Imperm. 1 Call by the Grave because, as I said, we don't want to get Ash Blossomed and we really don't want to have our Battle Ocean Ghost Ogred. And it's just a really, really strong card. 1 Monster Reborn for more free extension. Yeah, we need to see a critical number of monsters to make our plays, therefore we want to see them. And then finally we're playing 3 Wave. This is partially a budget consideration because yes, we can search it with the new Coral Triangle, but often if you go through Coral Triangle, unless you've drawn a really, really strong hand, you end up being unable to make Crystal Hearts. You have to choose whether you want access to Wave or access to Crystal Heart. So I've gone for playing 3 wave to maximise the chance we have of drawing wave, and therefore it's much easier for us to make the Crystal Heart and go down that route. If you draw really, really well, you can make both. But I've just gone for maximising the chances we have of drawing Marincess Wave. Marincess Wave negates a monster effect that is face up until the end of this monster's turn. And then if you control a link 2 or higher, all face up monsters you control are unaffected by card effects. And if you control a link 3 or higher, you can activate this card from your hand. It's a massive blowout card. It's sort of like an imperm plus. It's imperm plus, since you can activate it when you have a board, and it protects all your stuff as well as providing negation. So, for our extra deck, we have 1 Marincess Aqua Argonaut. This is the one you will most often make, because it provides you with a spell trap negate. So, you can special summon one of your Marincess monsters equipped to this card, negate that effect when your opponent activates a spell trap. If it's in the extra monster zone, your opponent's monsters cannot attack any other monsters except this one. If this is a big 43 plus beta, then your opponent might struggle to out it. You can only target 1 water monster you control, 1 card your opponent controls, return them to the hand. Very, very simple. And then it's got the negation effect. So 3 very useful effects in that regard. Stops your opponent clearing things like running over your toad, and then trying to pop off afterwards, so you force that negate there, and provides you with board clearing and negation. 1 Marincess Great Bubble Reef. This is Water Heat Soul, but it's a little bit slower, and also gives you some special summoning and extension at the cost of sending a water monster from your hand to graveyard, and then bringing back some banished Marincess monsters. 1 Marincess Marbled Rock. This lets you recycle some Marincess cards from your graveyard at any point in the turn, and not just when it's being sent to the graveyard, like Coral Anemone. And then when an opponent's monster declares an attack, send a Marincess monster from hand to the graveyard. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no damage. Occasionally comes up, but the main point of this is to add cards back from the graveyard. 1 Marincess Coral Triangle, the other new card from LAD 9. Send a water monster from your hand to the grave, search 1 Marincess Trap, so it searches wave. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card, special summon water link monsters from your graveyard whose combined linked rating equals exactly 3. You can only use each effect once per turn. It gives you some extension if your opponent breaks your board, searches the trap. As I said, sometimes you'll go through this, sometimes you'll go through Crystal Heart, sometimes you'll be able to go through both. It really depends what you feel is more necessary at the time. 2 Coral Anemone. This is a phenomenal card. Target 1 water monster with 1500 or less attack. Special summon it from the graveyard to a link point. And then if it goes from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Marincess monster card, not monster, in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So things like milling off Spring Girl can put extra stuff for you to add back. It can add back extenders, it can add back combo pieces, it can add back follow-up for the next turn. It can add back cards for you to discard for Coral Triangle, or for, say, Great Bubble Reef. It's just a really, really all-round strong card, and probably the best card in the extra deck. 1 Crystal Heart. Card sucks, effect is irrelevant. We are only using this because of the text on Battle Ocean. Yeah, don't even bother reading the effect. The effect does not matter. 2 copies of Marincess Blue Slug. This gets 1 Marincess monster in your graveyard back to your hand. So you summon Blue Tang, dump Spring Girl, make Blue Slug, activate Blue Slug's effect as Chain Link 1, targeting Spring Girl, activate Blue Tang's effect to chain block it, to look at the top 3 and add 1 if there's a Marincess card. It's very, very strong. It's how you start off your link climbing plays, and is very, very important to the deck. 2 copies of Marincess Sea Angel. This searches your Marincess spells. Usually we'll be searching Battle Ocean, because dive is much easier to draw, but sometimes you get to search dive, and it's very, very nice. But it's very, very important to have this card, because we need access to Battle Ocean. 1 Splash Mage, yeah, it's just another copy of Coral Anemone that's also there. It just targets any Cyberse monster in the graveyard and brings it back for you. Just has slightly fewer restrictions than Coral Anemone. 1 Bahamut Shark. This makes you the Toad. This card's really expensive because people are buying it in preparation for Splight. Unfortunate, because it is really, really good. Yeah, you need this card. This card is part of the reason that you can play Marincess at this point. The fact that Marincess can very easily put a Toad up on the 5th summon or so, and then your entire combo is insulated from Nibiru. And then finally, we're playing 1 Stealth Kraken. Stealth Kraken is really good in later portions of the game. It gives you a quick effect pop, or if you're going second, by turning everything into water and then just letting you pop cards. Sort of like a discount DPE. Yeah, very nice card. Generic, 2 level 4s. If we're going second, there's a chance that we make this over the Bahamut Shark to break the board. So that is Marincess updated. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon with a combo video, and I'll see you with more decks as and when. See you soon.